I'm making this video because I want to talk about one of my favorite books ever. It's called And I Don't Want to Live This Life, and it was written in 1983 by Deborah Spungen, Nancy Spungen's mother. If you are familiar with the Sex Pistols and Sid Vicious, you surely already know who Nancy was. She was Sid's girlfriend from 1977 to 1978, and she died when she was only 20 years old at the Chelsea Hotel. She died in very tragic and mysterious circumstances, and the events of her death were never really properly investigated. But I don't want to focus on them. I want to talk about this book, which is basically Nancy's story told through her mother's eyes and perspectives. And the story starts from when she was born, and then it goes on through her babyhood, childhood, adolescence, and girlhood until the very end. When Nancy was born, she suffered a trauma because the umbilical cord got wrapped around her neck for a bunch of seconds. And even though it was a relatively short deprivation of oxygen, it had an impact on her emotional health. This book casts a very bad light on the medical system that basically failed Nancy. Pediatricians, doctors, psychiatrists didn't really try to get to the real root of the problem, but they just limited themselves to prescribing Nancy sedatives to calm her down. From the moment she was born, Nancy never stopped screaming. She was in great pain and anger and anguish, and she tried to direct her anger towards herself, and she was used to perform acts of self harm on her. Unfortunately, she was really misunderstood, and I think if she had lived today, she would have had a much better life. Nowadays, it has been established that there is a connection between traumas at birth and our emotional health. But back in the days, there wasn't much knowledge, I guess, about it. And they just tried to cure her with drugs from when she was 3.5 months. As a result, Nancy was suffering a lot, and she tried to find happiness all her life. And I think she found it with when she met Sid Vicious. They had a very intense, bittersweet relationship, but I think that at the end of the day, they were two kids, two tormented souls who found each other and supported each other and were destined to meet. Nancy represented for Sid the mother figure that he had basically never had, and she was also very protective towards Sid. I know that she's often been portrayed as the Yoko Ono of punk, but that wasn't really the case. I think that the press and the tabloid reporters never even touched the surface. Nancy was a very special girl with a rare intelligence and intuitiveness. She was very bright and had a very high IQ. However, she was also very sensitive and misunderstood and vulnerable. And I guess that if she had lived today, she would have become someone. She was very skilled with words. She was very talented with the linguistic skills. And I could definitely see her working as a movie reviewer or a music reviewer or even a writer or a journalist. I think that with her rare intelligence, she could have become anyone she wanted to be. This book is really sad, raw, and honest, but also beautiful. I've read it 3 times already, and I intend to read it again in the future because it has changed. It has completely changed my perspective of Nancy, and I think that's the closest to Nancy that you'll ever going to get. And it made me empathize with her. It made me really feel her anger and pain at times. And I even found myself crying at some point. I would recommend this book to anyone, whether you're a Sex Pistols or a punk fan. It doesn't really matter because this book is not about the music scene, but it's about this special girl, and it's a human story that I'm pretty sure will make you empathize with Nancy. Let me know if you've read this book or if you're curious to read it and learn more about her. Bye.